Hey, hey, hey! Welcome to Dutch Angular Group. Fine Avond? Is that what they say? Did I say that right? Fine
Goedenavond.
Avond?
Fine Avond,
Goede
inderdaad.
Avond. Well, which one is it? Fine Avond or Goede Avond?
You can use both.
I can pick?
You can pick,
Yeah.
All
yeah.
right.
Pick a match,
All
whatever you
right.
like.
We have a great show tonight. I am actually filling in for Jeffrey Bosch. Big shoes to fill. So our regular host is not with us tonight, but he will be back. He's a busy guy, y'all. So he's got stuff to do. Okay, so with us today. Well, before I introduce the guest, I'm going to introduce our panelists. Bjorn, you want to say hi? How are you?
Oh, I'm so happy to be back, and I'm good to see you again, buddy. It's been a while, let's be fair. Happy to be back on the Dutch Angular group and looking real forward to this talk coming up right now.
You're looking very professional with the black background and the black shirt, and
Thank you. It's a coincidence. I just threw on something this morning, so
very cool.
I shaved especially for today.
You look great too, Sonder. How are you doing? It's so good to see you.
I'm doing fine, thank you. I'm being a little bit busy, but it's nice to be here. I'm really looking forward to the presentation.
I actually I had Matt on NG Houston. I don't know when it was, but it was a while back. And then I immediately introduced him to Jeffrey, and I was like, "You got to meet this guy," because I really liked his presentation, and I thought you guys would too. And so that's why I introduced him to Jeffrey, and Jeffrey got him on the calendar, and now he's here. Matt Carson, say hello. How are you?
Hey guys, excited to be here.
We're excited to have you. So you are going to talk to us about Angular elements. Is that right?
Yeah. Yep. That's
All right. We have Jeffrey in the chat. Say hi, Jeffrey, and Thomas from Paris, France. That's awesome.
Ooh, from Paris. That's a long way back, mate.
Hey, we're global now.
Yeah, we are.
Matt, do you want to share your screen?
I do, yeah. Let me get it pulled up here.
I'm going to so once he shares his screen, then he's gonna teach y'all some cool stuff, and I'm gonna take us out of the stream, but we'll still be here watching, and maybe we'll come back in and heckle him every once in a while. If you have questions, ask them in the chat, and then I think this talk is not it's not too long. So, and then at the end after your talk, we'll jump in and we'll have a chance to chit chat and talk about the code.
Maybe take some questions from the chat if they have any, so we can represent the questions from chat if there are any. So
don't worry about them; they're on their own. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Yes, ask questions in the chat. Okay, Matt, you want to share your screen?
Yep. Let me know when it comes up.
There it is.
See it.
Okay. All right, so today we're talking about Angular elements, just a basic introduction. We'll talk about what Angular elements are, why you might want to use them, and then we'll go through a basic demo of creating the actual element, and then followed by how to build, combine, and deploy them locally. So Angular elements they're just regular Angular components, but they're packaged as custom elements for use in the DOM. So the powerful thing is you can have someone that has no idea what Angular is, and they can import a script file and then add the custom element, and then this demo component could be your Angular component running in just like a regular HTML file. So why use Angular elements? Like I said before, they allow you to pass components to someone without any knowledge of Angular. You can also just import them in a static HTML file or a website like WordPress or Wix. And that's kind of what got me started looking into Angular elements. I had a client that wanted to use a pretty reactive calculator with lots of inputs. And it was in WordPress. And after using JavaScript for a while, it's kind of hard to go back and look at PHP code. And I wanted to use RxJS, so I thought Angular elements would be a good fit. And it turns out it was, and I like using them now, so I use them pretty often. They also allow you to use Angular components with other frameworks, such as like Vue, React, or even AngularJS. They're supported by most browsers: Chrome, Edge, Firefox, Opera, Safari. The big one that's not supported natively is Internet Explorer. I think it'll render okay, but the change detection doesn't really work as you'd expect it to. So if you have or if you have a client base that uses Internet Explorer a lot, this might not be a great fit for you. So I think what I'll do is just go through the code in the presentation, just kind of all the way through, and then versus skipping back and forth between the code and the presentation. I'll just go through it real quick, and then we'll go to the live coding. So you really start this an Angular element project the same as you would any other project with the ng-new command. After that, you have to use the ng-add command to add Angular elements. And then you just create a new component as you normally would. There's some changes in the app module that you need to make. The first one is you need to add the entry component, and that'll be your component that you want to create the Angular element from. So you'll add that in the entry components, and then you clear out the Bootstrap array. So you're not going to Bootstrap like the app component like you normally would. And then you're going to add this ng-do Bootstrap.
Hey, Matt, the guys want you to click on hide for the StreamYard thing at the bottom.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you.
So you're gonna manually Bootstrap. Oops. First, you're going to create a custom element of that demo component, which we haven't really created yet or done anything with. And then from that, you're going to define that element with a name and then assign it to that element. In the demo component, you're really going to build this like you normally would. There's really nothing special that you need to do. And this is the component that's you're going to use in like your HTML file. There are some nuances with the inputs and outputs. So with the inputs, the create custom element function, it kind of modifies the input property names. So if you're using like camel case, so like down here in the demo input, it's gonna, when you go to use that element, you're gonna have to use dash separated lowercase. And I'll show that in a demo. But so if you have demo input, it's gonna be just, for your input, it's gonna be demo dash input. And then on the outputs, really nothing changes for the case. It's gonna stay the same. But to use the outputs, you just have to create a couple lines of code, which I'll go through in the example as well. But basically, you're just creating a component and then referencing the demo component, which is the Angular, or which is the custom element or custom component, and then you're going to add an event listener on that. So I'll switch over to code here and we'll start going. So the first thing we talked about doing was adding the entry component. And that'll be the demo component. And then I will also remove this app component from the Bootstrap. And then in the app module class, we'll add a constructor to bring in the injector. Import that. We're going to add the ng2 Bootstrap. We're going to create the custom element here. And we're going to input the demo component and then a config object, which is just going to be the injector. We're going to do the custom element .define, and this is where we're going to give that element a name that we're going to be able to use in the HTML file. So we'll define it. We'll just call it custom element, and then we'll assign that element that we referenced above. That's really all for the app module file. Next, we'll go into the TypeScript file for the demo component. And I'm going to add an input and an output just so we can see how those work. And we'll call this a title message just so you can see how the camel case gets converted to the lowercase. And this will just be a string. Same thing with the output. We'll just create, we'll call it custom event. And that'll be a type event emitter. And we'll make that a new event emitter. I think the only other thing we need to do here is make like an on-click method. And inside, we'll just have it emit that custom event. And we'll just have it say emitting string. We're done with that one as well. In the template, I'm just going to create a title, and it'll be that title message. And then I'll create a button as well. And I'll just add a click event that'll run the on-click method. And I think that's really all we need to do for the basic one. So I'm going to go back to the presentation, and we'll talk a little about what you do to build and combine and deploy this. So the first thing I do is create a Node.js file in the root directory. And basically what this file does is just combines the these three files here, the runtime.js, polyfill.js, and main.js. It combines them into one file, and then it moves them to the directory where we're going to host all these files. And this file also pulls the style.css, and it pulls it into this directory as well. You wouldn't have to necessarily do this, but if you don't do this, then you're going to have to, when you go to consume this Angular element, you're going to have to import all three of these files individually. So, as well as the CSS file. So this just cuts back on how many things you have to import. And then for building the element, you just have to use the ng build prod like you normally would. But if you're going to use the last step that I talked about, the concatenating, you need to use the -- output hashing none. And basically that just removes these files would normally have a hash after them. So if you remove them, then you know you're going to have a consistent file name when you go to move them all together. So you're going to build the project, and then also after that, run this node concat.js. So what I like to do is set up a build script that just combines the two of these together. And then you can just run that with the npm run build elements. And then for testing, I've been using the Lite server. You can install that globally with that npm install -g http server, and then start the server with http server. Then the next thing that you'd have to do to test it would be to create an HTML file like in the root directory. And then you can use the custom element here that we created, and then also import this script. So I'll start that process. So first we're going to create the concat file. Concat.js, and then in that we're going to add this file here, or add these lines of code. So really you have to use two npm imports or installs, the fs extra, which handles the file system, and then concat, which is going to be used to bring them all together. So this is what the files should be called, with whatever your project number or project name is here. So you're going to set this file's variable to an array with these file names. We're going to make sure there's a directory there. If not, we're going to create it. And then we're going to concatenate these three files, the JavaScript files, together. And then we're going to move them to this elements directory. And then we're going to do the same thing with the CSS file. So right now we don't really have any CSS in there, but most times you are going to have something that you need to copy over. And I've already installed these two, fs extra and concat. So the next thing is I'm going to create that build script in the package.json file. So first it's going to run the build.-prod, and then it's going to concatenate the files like we talked about. So save this and this. We'll see if this runs.
You got to cross your fingers. You got to hold your nose just right.
I know. So it doesn't seem like it's, when I first did it, it kind of seemed like there was a lot of steps involved, but the more I've done it, it seems it's a pretty simple process to do. I'd say that building the component in Angular is really the hardest part. Everything else is kind of just the same every time.
I put Bjorn's audio back in too, so he could heckle you with me, Matt.
Okay.
Well,
keep me company.
Man.
Thanks.
So far, it's looking good with the compiler.
Yeah.
He was just putting supportive comments over in the private chat going, yeah, this is looking pretty cool. And I was like, well, get in there and tell him.
Yeah. It's lonely when I feel like I'm just talking about
I can kind of understand. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it takes some getting used to, right? So.
Yeah.
We're here. We're watching because it's dinner time, Matt. So we were all eating at the same time while you're doing all the work here.
Well, the good thing is that hopefully a lot of the viewers will also be eating dinner. Oh no!
Module not fine. I thought I didn't.
Oh yeah. Minus. Oh yeah. If you wanna, yeah, it might work. Maybe you can't find it because you've installed it globally before?
Let's see.
Wait.
Oh, wait, it's looking for the
concat. Yeah, it can't find concat, yeah, and it's looking at a different spot, I think. Wait, no. Can you go back to that error message or make it a little bit bigger? Yeah, can I find module
Angular elements
concat.js?
Concat.js.
I mean, it wouldn't be.
There.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be a live demo if something like this wouldn't go wrong, right? So.
Let me just try running that concat.js.
Yeah, good idea. Oh, wait.
Does Sandra wants to know if the concat needs to be in the source folder?
CJS? Who's doing that?
I don't.
Maybe you need source in the path.
Did I spell it right? Concat.
Do you need source in the path, Matt? Or is it in the source file?
It's not in the source file, I don't think.
All the relatives look pretty good in that concat.
Or is it? Maybe it is.
It is.
It is.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well, that explains.
Yeah, that's an easy one.
One lower, still lower.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, there it is. Well, let's run again.
We got this.
Yeah, no problem, man. Live coding. The most difficult thing ever done on stage. Yeah, there you go. All right, let's build again.
I don't even know if we'll need to really build again, right?
I do think you do, because the concat didn't happen now.
Okay.
All right, whilst we wait for the build, Ramon has a question. You'd be able to create multiple elements in one project that you compile or build with one script, he's assuming? Is that correct? Is that too early to get into this one, or?
No, because in this demo, I only make one, but I think I've actually never done more than one in a single app, but my guess would be that when you're doing the setup in the ng-do Bootstrap, you would just create more than one and then also add multiple entry components. But I'm sure you can do it. I had a feeling someone might ask me that. I've never personally done it more than one in here, but we don't have to do it.
This is a group where we all learn together.
Exactly. And it sounds like what you just explained. Exactly. I think if you have multiple in that main app module, when you import the resulting script that you're building right now with the compiler, you will have multiple elements to use. But if somebody finds out that it doesn't work that way, or if to do something else, then we'd happily have you contribute in chat right now, so we can just share with everybody.
Okay.
But it might be a nice one for the next one. We got to write this one down. It's a good question. Good question, Ramon.
You know what happens if you ask a question and we don't know the answer? You get to present next time.
Yeah,
right.
Yep, exactly. Ramon? If we don't know for sure by the end of this one, you're up. You're up, man. All right, let's get back to Matt.
So now I'm just going to use that light server to create, to serve these files. And then I will, let's see. I'm going to put the index in the right folder. So let's see. So now in this index file, just a regular HTML file, I'm going to import the script here from the file that's being served from the light server. So if we click on this, it should just be the concatenated files. And then this is our demo component that we created. I don't think I called it demo component. I think I called it custom element.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
It's a speedy spot there you got there, Matt. Good shit.
So we'll call that custom element. So this is really all we need to do to display that component. This title message, if you remember, the actual input was title message, but so it'll change it to the lowercase one. And then we'll just change the title to this is the title. Then down here, let's change this. This is where we're using the output. So we're finding that custom element, and then we're adding an event listener on it. The custom event listener that we created in the output. And then we're just, I'm just doing a simple alert to bring something to the screen.
It looks good. Let's see what it does.
Okay, so this is the thing that, or the component that generated. So this is the title, that was our input. And if we click this, hopefully we get that emitting string. So.
Beautiful.
Thanks. I know we've got some time left. Trying to think if there's anything else we can talk about. The last one we did NG Houston, I showed how to deploy this to Firebase. And we had some errors. It seemed like it takes a while for the Firebase host to come up. So we had issues in there last time, but it eventually did work. The other thing I didn't talk about was bringing in CSS and importing like a library like Angular material. So if you want, we could maybe try to add that in there.
Sounds cool. And Matt, it's your show, man. So
okay.
Whatever you're comfortable with.
It was crazy last time because it wasn't working, and then as soon as the show was over, it worked fine.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the demo god not being happy with you. Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't even change anything. He just ran it again without YouTube, and it was perfect.
Oh, that's so unfortunate. You forgot to sacrifice like a keyboard or something.
Right. All right. I'm gonna have to look at this. I actually made a couple slides for this.
Ooh.
I didn't know if we'd have time or not.
We do.
Okay, so I'll show you how to add Angular material in there because I know I like using that. So you'll just do the ng add Angular material, and then we'll use this import function, or the import. We'll import this file here, the CSS file from Angular material. The only thing I'm not sure is like if you had a bunch of these, if this would be the best way to do this. I just can't think of another way. Because if you have like 5 different Angular elements, you're going to be importing that whole library, 5 different times.
Isn't there a way you could do that like on the app level? Or maybe no. Wait, actually, this is just an import, so you could probably bring it along in this. No, you could bring it into concat.js. You could do it there. You could bring it along, and you would just have to do the add import and just make it a relative one, and you're done. I think
that's a good idea. Yeah, we'll try that.
I mean, we're playing again here. This is live demoing. I mean, we're risking it, but if you're comfortable with it, and I'll happily look with you.
Okay, let's try that then. So first I'll close this and we'll do ng add. Do you think we just create a new, instead of bringing over the style.css, we could just bring over the CSS file from Angular material? Just from the node modules.
There was a question in the chat. Speaking of bundle size, how much overhead does Angular add here compared to just a plain custom element? Do you know the answer? Or some lightweight library? Because I know
it's gonna be more, yeah.
But I feel like it's justified because Angular has so much functionality. But if you're doing like a really simple small thing, then maybe it's not justified. But it depends on what you're using it for.
Yeah. So the main.js was 117 kilobytes. 49. I don't think it's much more than like, it's going to be more than, if you're running this like on HTML file, it's going to be a pretty big bundle compared to, like jQuery or something like that, I would assume.
Right.
But wouldn't it just be pretty close to these 3? I don't know if it's saving any space.
You're not even close to hitting a megabyte, and that's not that bad, I guess. But yeah, but still, it might be significantly more than smaller libraries that can depending on what you use it for, of course.
Yeah. Okay. So where do you think I would go to get that file?
You mean the CSS one?
Yeah.
That should be not in Elements. That should be in Material.
Oh, yeah.
I think that might be a different. Isn't it Angular/material
Oh,
or Angular? No, wait, they call it differently now. It's Angular/components. It's in components.
Oh, okay.
If you go back to the dist or to the Node modules.
Is it at Angular?
Yeah, at Angular/components, if I recall correctly. Yeah, wait, there's no components in there. You did just install it, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
But it failed.
Was there error?
Oh, you added elements, but you added elements, not material.
Oh, okay. That's why.
That probably explains a lot.
Yeah. We had elements installed.
There might be a chance that they changed that name, but if that's the case, I'll look it up for you, okay?
Okay.
Looks like they found it, so. So npm takes its sweet time again, as it does. Oh, there we go. We just have to, talk about it and suddenly fast.
Just while we're doing this, I'm going to run through some quick announcements. We have Mark Thompson from the Angular team, who is going to be on this show November 12th with Joy of Motion. He's going to be talking about animations, which is cool. We have Katarina, who's amazing. She's going to be talking about scalable apps with NX at the end of November. And also Manfred Steyer is coming on December 10th, you guys. We got some good stuff coming up.
So on that same note, if you don't want to miss any of these events, might want to click that subscribe button here and ring that bell.
I think everybody's done eating. Bjorn, you want to turn your camera on and we'll just all hang out in here with Matt?
I was never eating. All right.
This is what I want to bring in, right?
Yeah, that one. Or you can pick a different one, whatever color you like. Whatever color scheme's up for you.
You know how I'd reference the node module in here?
You're in the root, right? So / node _ modules. Yeah.
Okay.
I think you can copy the relative path directly from VS Code, but it might be a plugin.
Okay. I think I can.
I have an extension that does pod completion if I type.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that TypeScript Hero that does that?
I don't know. I think I kicked that one out, so.
Oh. Why?
Probably because it was giving more problems than it was solving.
Fair enough. Well, the good thing is now you can just give it a normal, normal, I'd say normal, but like a different, just a different name. And it would be way easier to implement as well in your style. Although it would probably, if you would run it directly, which maybe you could talk about a little bit, like what does it look like when you're developing this element when you just do npm run or npm start or npm run start or something like that, you know?
So if you take out the Bootstrap, then it actually isn't going to show anything there, and that's some of it's kind of. So when I develop, and maybe there's an easier way, but I'll add the app component back in there.
Oh,
and
you
then I'll be able to see it. It's kind of weird because the actual Angular documents show you still bootstrapping app component, but then in your app component, you're creating these custom elements. But I haven't been able to get that to work. I don't know if maybe it seems like all the tutorials that I've looked at recommend doing it in the actual app module file.
What you can do is use the is-prod mode to disable this stuff when you're building in product mode, and then you can just use ng-serve.
Yeah. So you can then just run the regular Angular compiler to check out your component if they look and act like the way you want to. Yeah. Some interesting stuff in there, yeah. But then you still would lose the CSS team you're bringing right now, because we're gonna give it if you're gonna give it a relative path, that won't work then.
Yeah. Okay. So
you can just pull it in your Angular.json, and it will be optimized into your output CSS file.
I mean, honestly, I'm not sure how it handles CSS files in general, but if you just refer with that import in the style CSS, you're already copying that on compile time. I think it might bring it with you automatically. You don't have to do it in concat. Yeah. Not 100% sure though if it does that.
Oh yeah. Let's see. All right. So it looks like it copied over there.
In your source then, I guess?
Yeah. So now we'll just make that, we'll make a button maybe. Is it Matt button?
Yeah. I think that's a slash button then. But also automatic IntelliSense here would be very, very well.
Yeah.
There you go.
That should be enough, right? And then we just need to import the style in our index file and rebuild.
You need to click the override in your pop-up on the bottom.
Oh yeah, got it. Now we'll run this again.
Somebody's got a kitty cat who wants to say hello.
So now we need to import just the CSS here, right?
Yep. Same way you did the elements.js. So basically a link rel style sheet.
Right. I'll do this enough.
No. You have to. I always forget. Is it SRC or href here?
Oh, it is href. You're right.
Yeah.
And that'll be this.
Moment of truth.
That look right?
Yeah, I don't recall if it was material CSS or elements.css.
Oh, let's see, element.
I don't recall what you called it in Concat.
Material. Oops.
Yeah, it's material CSS. All right. My bad.
Forgot how long this took.
Sorry, what?
I said I forgot how long this took.
Oh, yeah. I mean, for especially first time compiling when you've just added the plugin or the
Right, yeah, the first time.
material. The first compilation is like horrible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gets better over time, but first one's, grab a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you more announcements while we're waiting. Is that okay?
Might as well.
In about an hour, 2 hours, something like that, we have the NGXS team doing community hangout on Angular Nation. So come and join us if you want to. And I'm also starting group 3 of Angular Architect training on Monday. Also on Angular Nation. And so, Matt went through that already.
I did, yeah. It was a good course.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm glad you liked it.
I did.
So.
Okay, we should be good.
Well, it works. It works.
Ta-da! I think we should all just really appreciate that.
Yeah, but where's the CSS now? And is that not 404? Does it work? I think you already checked that, right? Like the link works.
I don't think I checked the material one.
Oh, fair, yeah.
Let's try that. Yeah.
Yeah, looks good.
Let's look at the component. It's bat-button, right?
Yeah, that's correct. I did look it up for you. Color is also good, so that shouldn't be an issue. might be in the importing of the
app module.
the module. Yeah, let me check that out. Get up.
It's kind of weird because when I just imported, because technically I would think you could just import this directly into your style.css file, and then that's already being copied over. But whenever I did that, I couldn't get it to work. The only way I got it to work was importing it directly into the CSS file or the SCSS file. I'm not sure why it wouldn't work the way we're doing it now, though.
Where are you? Their button has a button module.
Add Angular /material/button. That's right. I'm just going to add this here just to rule out. Make sure the components.
You did the right. Yeah, you've got the right name there. It's Matt button module, so it's not that.
Yeah, like I said, this is the only way I was able to get it to work before, but if you have multiple ones, then I don't know if you want to import that in each component.
Yeah, that's a good question. Actually, it will be an interesting piece of study, and maybe a blog post or something, Matt, just to try that out and see what it does to your bundle size, and if a single import from the style that you create would work. Because there's the app component as CSS as well, and if you do a top level, that probably won't be taken, would it? That's interesting. Interesting to play around with.
Yeah.
Maybe the map button module should also be in exports. I wouldn't know about that, Matt. Do you know?
I wouldn't think so, but I can try.
Budget. Well, that's kind of fair, right? I mean,
yeah.
you're now bringing the material CSS file, which we all know is, especially the pre-built one, is pretty complete, let's say.
Right. Let's see.
Any component style, I reckon.
Yeah, I'll do 75.
So Matt and Bjorn, we had somebody who just joined us who wasn't here for the beginning. So can you give us a quick recap? So we built the Angular elements, and now you're deploying it to Firebase with a little bit of Angular material. CSS.
Well, we're not doing.
It's going to be bundled.
Don't think we're doing Firebase.
Yeah,
you're just putting in the Angular material.
Yeah, we deployed locally, and then now we're trying to get the Angular material to import in there as well.
It's a little tricky.
Yeah.
I mean,
I really think this stuff, I think I've done so many things with, I was going to say with Angular, but with programming in general, where I'm trying to do something new and it doesn't work and I got to fiddle with it. But it seems like the longer, because I'm stubborn, right? Which I think all of us are. So the longer I fiddle with it, the more I'm happy when it works.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The release, when it finally just does exactly what you want it to in the first place, is just gets so much bigger, you know?
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm just looking at this from a like how your actual end result right now is an index.html. Doesn't know about Angular. It just receives a script.js,
Right.
basically containing an Angular packaged custom element, web component, whatever name you want to use for it. And that's just really a powerful thing. It makes it so easy to share stuff. And they get back into the JavaScript, world and have these messages bounce around. Like, if you think about it from a developer standpoint, that's just implementing existing components. It's such a powerful tool, what you're building here. And just honestly, in a few minutes, you had the basic demo which is doing something crazy right now. I think it works. You got it to work, man. Did you see the button? It looked really different. So I think you got it to work. Yeah.
Let me just, so I think this is. Oh, it did change.
Yeah, it changed. It works.
Okay,
It
nice.
works now. So you got it.
Awesome.
We never doubted you.
Not a second.
There you go.
There you go. That's it right there.
There we go.
So that's material
Awesome,
right there.
awesome.
That's it.
All right. That was actually perfect timing because we're at the top of the hour. So that was very smooth. Thank you very much again, Matt, for coming on and doing this this awesome demo. Thank you, Bjorn, for being so supportive and walking through that with Matt. And thank you, Sander, also always for joining us. Okay, we had some great questions in the chat, and we would like you guys to join us again. I just want to run through the calendar one more time. November 12th, we have Mark Thompson, who is so fun. You guys are going to love him. He is a hoot, talking about animation. On the 26th of November, we have Katarina from Narwhal talking about scalable apps with NX. She's very cool. And then December 10th, we have Manfred Steyer, and we have more, I think, coming up after that. I think Jeffrey's got all kinds of stuff planned. And then also later on tonight, we have the NGXS core team coming on to do a community hangout. You can turn on your cameras and come hang out with us. And then I also have our architect training starting on Monday on Angular Nation. Anybody else have anything else? We have DevReach coming on next, not here, but we have DevReach going on next week, I think. Sander, is that right? You're going to be on there with us? Yeah?
Yeah. I'm going to be.
Okay, and then I'm going to copy Matt's demo into the chat so that you guys, Matt's GitHub repo.
Yeah, repo, yeah.
Thanks.
There we go.
Okay.
That's the official Dutch Angular. It's better. Yeah.
Do we have Marion, this is a very good question, and but I don't think I guess we do have time because it's top of the hour, but Marion wants to know, Matt, can you share your screen again and show us VS Code? What's the two buttons in the VS Code side nav above and below NX?
Ooh.
We have time, right?
Yeah.
No rush.
Above, what was it? Above and below NX.
Snippets?
Yeah, this is
and Project
snippets
Manager.
and Project Manager, yeah.
Is that a recent version of VS Code you have, or is that an extension?
Looks like an extension, yeah.
I think that's built in now.
Really?
Yeah, it's like an extension that comes with VS
cool.
Code.
The NX one?
The snippets?
Oh, snippets.
Well, I knew about the NX, but I didn't know about the snippets in the Project Manager.
I got the NX console myself as well, but the Project Manager is new to me.
Project Manager is nice.
We got you, Marion. We would not leave you behind. Okay, so I guess all you have to do then is update to the latest version of VS Code, and then you can be cool like Matt.
And also, I'm gonna look it up in the marketplace. So
there you go.
Yeah,
you can't hide the cool plugins from me.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody, and we'll see y'all again soon. Have a good night.
All right. Thanks.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.